Hey YouTubers, it's Valinor again, and I just wanted to say howdy and show you what's on my bench right now, as well as a couple of shout outs to a couple of channels, mainly to bring some awareness of their channels and some cool things that they're doing if you don't already know them. I do want to apologize right now for my camera. It's not an autofocus camera, so while I'm showing some of the things I'm working on, it's not going to autofocus. I'll have to probably adjust it, so just bear with me on that. The first shout out I'd like to do is to WarbossTae. If you haven't seen his channel yet, you got to swing by there. He's doing a couple of really interesting things. One of the main things that's really neat about his channel, he's doing a new segment called Out with the Old, or In with the Old. Basically what he's doing is he is showing an older miniature, GW, etc., and he's also showing a brand new one. So he's giving a contrast of releases that were done years ago as well as new releases to the game. Now for me, that's incredibly helpful because I'm really considering getting into the game. I'm still a diehard RPer, so that's pretty much still going to be my love as far as miniatures and hobby painting and whatnot, but I'm really digging the GW stuff and what I've been seeing on all of your videos. So I want to give a shout out to WarbossTae, as well as I mentioned to him that I had a fig. Well, actually, it's my girlfriend's fig, but I'm going to be redoing it for her, kind of a rebirth of Lilith, Hesperex, or yeah. You know who she is. I don't have to tell you. Anyway, this is her, and like I mentioned, she is missing an arm. It's one of the older figs back from, let's see, this is showing 1998 GW. So it's a little bit of an older fig. I have her little fins here for the back of her shoulder piece. I don't know if I'm going to put these back on or not. Maybe. We'll see. But yeah, I'm going to strip her down and create a new arm for her. Her original arm, from what I've seen on the internet, has been one of holding a trident. I'm probably not going to do that. Not unless I can actually get a hold of an actual arm, but more than likely I'm just going to create a new one. But what I'll probably do is keep with what they're releasing with her now, which is dual wielding swords. So I'll probably replicate this sword and the sword arm and kind of build that into what she is right now. But yeah, so the next step with her is basically stripping her down. No comments, and then painting her back up again. Okay, so the next segment and shout out is to rewind that. One more comment to WarbossTae. So on your latest video for the Sorcerer Zeech, and how he wants to eat Harry Potter. It's just not going to happen. I don't know if you're aware of it, but Radcliffe isn't going to be Harry Potter anymore. Since he's no longer the governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger is actually going to be the new Harry Potter. And I just, I have a little bit of an insight to what that actually may be like. So if you kind of close your eyes a little bit and look into the mind of Harry Potter through Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Wingardium Leviosa! Hermione, get down!
Expecto Patronum! I'm going to sing you a lullaby, Voldemort! I don't know the lyrics! Anyway, so yeah, so that's going to be Arnold as the new Harry Potter. So moving on to the next segment, this is going out to Chris from AG Productions. So Chris is pretty well known, but if you haven't been by his site recently, or if you don't know, I'll definitely add both his and WarbossTae's channels to the notes in this segment. But there's an interesting thing that Chris is doing called Friday Afternoon Figs. And what he does on that segment is he talks about small or unknown fig companies that produce really nice figs. On one of his latest sorry, my cat's getting into something. One of his latest videos, he's talking about Rackham figs, which, interestingly enough, I've just learned about Rackham not too long ago. My girlfriend has a Rackham fig, and here it is, that she hasn't painted yet. And I had the honor of putting together for her and green stuffing it up where needed, which was very little in the way of needing to touch it up. This was such a well-made model. The detail is so cool. You know, even down to, you know, at first I didn't notice it until I primed it, but he's got this little back piercing, which is really kind of cool. Most of the wrappings on his legs and arms have these little spiky things. Let's see if I can get a better shot at that. I'm sorry for my camera again. Anyway, but it's really a great fig. And Rackham did do some, you know, from what I've seen on the website, they have some really, really great figs. Matter of fact, I'm looking to pick up some more. She's got a couple of woven. I'd like to get at least, you know, a couple more myself. I did have to do a little green stuff around his hair, though. This whole section in here, his head was just really tiny, and there was very little hair that would match up with the body to kind of give it a nice smooth transition and make it believable that it could actually be a creature. So I filled in all this area with new green stuff hair, and then primed it, did a little braid down here just to kind of give it a little bit of realism. And same thing on this side. Same thing on this side. This is all new, this whole swath and a couple of bits over here. But it came out fairly decent. I'm very happy with it. But yeah, if you haven't checked out Rackham's figs, definitely take a look at them. I know they're not, you know, they're not GW Warhammer, but you know, if you're into painting figs and you want to step out of the box from what you're normally doing, if you do play, you know, strictly Warhammer, you know, take a look at them and take a look at Chris's website. Some of the recommendations for different manufacturers have been really great. So yeah, that's what we have on that. The next thing on my board that I'm doing, I'm not painting this one. I'm leaving that for her to paint. I put it together and primed it for her, but she's going to actually paint it. So and put the weapons on. So we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, I'm really kind of excited to see her finish it because it's really a cool mini. If you want to actually call it mini, if you look at it up next to a standard mini, he's really big. He's a tall fig. Anyway, so next on my board is this gal. It's a Reaper Mini. I believe the heading was something like Demon Sorcerer or Warlock or something. Anyway, a friend of mine picked this up and shipped it out to me. She plays 4th Ed D&D, and she wanted a fig to represent the Tiefling line. Tiefling is this kind of like a cross between a human and a demon, more or less. I don't know, almost like the if you play World of Warcraft, it's very similar to the Draenei. But yeah, she's got a little tail, and she's kind of rather neat looking. She originally came with a sickle and a wand in her other hand. So she wanted to use a scythe, however you want to pronounce it. So I basically lopped off the sickle and added this. This is actually from a GW box that I have. I bought the Vampire Lord pack. I don't know. Sorry, I don't have the name in front of me, but basically it came with a bunch of skeletons and zombies, and this really ornate wagon of bones with the Vampire Lord. It's really cool. I haven't assembled anything yet, but I kind of robbed this out of that to add to it. I'll need the green stuff for hand because it's just about the same size as the staff portion of it, so we'll need to do a little bit of work on it yet, but it's coming along. So yeah, that's what's keeping me busy lately. Oh, one other thing. I mentioned in one of my previous videos that the 2 dragons that I was restoring, I had a red dragon, which you've all seen, and I also have a gold one, but the gold one was really beat up, and it didn't have a base. And because its legs weren't entirely intact, I'm sculpting this dwarven head that's been broken as if it was a statue, and it'll be laying on the ground more or less, and the dragon will be standing on it. I got a little bit more ways to go on sculpting it yet, but you can kind of see the preliminaries. Now it's really not done back here. I'm not too worried about what's going to be on this side because the dragon's going to be over it. I'll do a little bit of detail, but not too much. But you get an idea of what it's going to look like on the. It's kind of like there was a giant dwarven statue that's kind of had its head lopped off and in the process of falling and breaking into pieces. That's kind of what it's going to look like. Yeah, so, and I'll cast that and use that as a base. So that's where I am. So definitely check out WarbossTae. Check out Christopher from AGproductionsinc. And this is Valinor, Happy Gaming, signing off.